Boom. Yes, 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 yes. We are here. Hello, Seejeanty Haiti Biz News Show. We're out for a week, but we're back right here. Lots to talk about, lots of information to digest and get into. So we're not going to spend too much time with it, with the familiarities, right? Those who are coming in, come on in, come on in. As you know, this is the Haiti Biz News Show. What do we do here every week? We digest what's happening in Haiti from a business perspective, from a macroeconomic perspective. We try to avoid the politics and the nonsense and here and there, conspiracy theories. Just try to see some facts and have an adult conversation and geared not only into informing, but also providing a path forward and how to engage, which is really what all the entire channel is about. For those who are coming on Instagram, hello. For those who are coming in on the Facebook page, Seejeanty, and of course those who are funneling through YouTube. I know we a little late here. Those who follow me on Instagram know I was knee deep in some Sujumu, and I'm sorry that took priority. That took priority for being on time. I had to enjoy my Sujumu. And yeah, before you judge me, listen, Sujumu is too good to have only one time during the year. All right, I have. Let me tell you right now, I'm a guy. I have my Sujumu every Sunday. Okay, every Sunday I have it done. It's my breakfast. That's my thing. All right, you judge me if you want to. My tongue could care less. Right, right. So let me just kind of get with the usual business. First and foremost, of course, we dropped a brand new YouTube Seejeanty, where we went to Mikat's Beach. Just dropped yesterday. The 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 response has been fantastic. The response has been phenomenal, right? And I can tell you that uh, it's probably one of my most fun videos I've had a chance to do. To be quite frank and honest with you, I had a great time. We were invited out by a Discovery, who they run that boat experience over on uh, over on with the Cameroon, and you saw speaking to David, he was the person who was a part of ensuring that each and every uh, time we you go, you have a great time, and so he's someone you want to certainly connect with. I had a great time, and of course, the what makes their mission, what they're doing so great, is that um, they work with the locals to clean the beach. They work with the locals to ensure that not only are you having a great time, but places like Haiti, uh, in Caribbean, you can see locals on the outskirts just watching you, and not having a way to be involved and be engaged. And so knowing that you being there as actually providing employment because they're helping keep the beach clean, getting jobs out of it, and it's helping the environment. It's a win-win all across the board. It's a guiltless pleasure, which very oftentimes you visit the developing world, there is a bit of guilt, right, that you can have. So it's a bit of guilt-free pleasure. And so again, that episode was just really fun to shoot. And the Cameroon itself, I didn't focus too much on the Cameroon because, to be quite frank with you, I was there on their dime. I was there on Haiti Discovery's dime, and so I wanted to give them the full fun and attraction and attention that they deserved. And so we focus on that. Maybe at some point, the Cameroon specifically will invite me to showcase the resort, and certainly, there'll be a much more in-depth episode on just the Cameroon experience when that time comes, right? So beyond that, of course, we have the Haiti Biz News website. Let me go put that banner down there. Where is my Haiti Biz News? But okay, where is that thing? Did that thing go away? Ah, there it is. All right, boom. You can see it down there, right underneath. Everything we talk about today can be found at Haiti biznews.com. And of course, that's a website we developed. It's the website we developed because we didn't see a place that really aggregated news that is relevant from an macroeconomic perspective, and we wanted to make sure that folks one-stop shop get that information. But of course, do want to visit the source websites, because right now we function more as an aggregator. Eventually, I do want to move the site to a direction where we're creating more original content, original write-ups. But for now, given my many hats I'm already wearing, I just wanted to really have a resource to be for myself, to be quite honest with you, because I was going to all the different websites trying to keep track of information. So this site's a place where it's the one-stop shop. Boom, check it out, read the headlines, read the stories, and again, if you want more information, you can go to the actual sites themselves. Links are always in the articles, right? So certainly, that's available to you. Again, everything we talk about on this episode today is going to be on Haiti Biz News site, right? Of course, those who are coming in on Facebook and on YouTube, please do me a favor, share the stream. Share it on your personal page. There's a bunch of different, Haiti groups out there. Haitians living in Florida, Haitians living in New York, 10,000 Haitians. Drop them in a group for me. Drop them in a group. Let's get some more folks in here, because the quality of conversation improve. Because I read all comments on air, right? Everything you guys are saying will be read, will be engaged with, and so the more folks we can bring on and they can provide their perspectives, the better quality of conversation we're going to have, right? So certainly share. All right. If you haven't done it, hit that and share it again. Right. A little quick announcement. I want folks to, I'll repeat this towards the end of the stream, but just so you guys know, unfortunately, we're not going to be on air next week. I have this incredible opportunity to go at Provence. And I know a lot of my viewers, my on location guys, part of the biggest criticism I get is, man, you're always in Port-au-Prince, man. Port-au-Prince ain't Haiti. You're always in Pétionville. Pétionville ain't Haiti, right? I agree with you. Usually my response is, can you pay for my crew, right? For hotels and food, because I ain't got no sponsor, because I'm doing this out of my pocket. So if you want to see more out of Haiti, out of Port-au-Prince content, you got a couple of different ways to do it. I always do talk about donations. We got a Squarecast set up. We got a Patreon set up. So if you guys really want to see more out of Haiti content, you know how to do it. Help a brother out. But most importantly, usually when I do have a chance to go out, it's usually because the place I'm going, they provide some accommodations for my team, right? And in this case, we're going over to Hinch. There's this incredible entrepreneurship innovation event happening, and luckily we've been afforded the opportunity to sleep somewhere over there, and that's going to help. And so I'm very happy to be able to showcase Hinch. Hinch is going to be is a very important city in the Central Plateau, and I can tell you, I'm so freaking excited, because I personally love, the Haiti I love the most. I love all Haiti, but the Haiti I love the most is when you're outside of the country, right? When you're outside and you're meeting folks and just experiencing that whole vibe. And honestly, some of my most popular episodes also are when I leave the city, right? And that means that you guys love it as well. I know this, right? So I'm happy to be doing something my viewers really like and that I really like to do as well. But the cost of that is I'm not going to be in my office with my high-speed internet and my lighting and all that to be able to produce the episode. So there isn't going to be no Haiti Biz News show, but the trade-off is going to be a really good episode. And I think the reason why we weren't on last week was because we had to do the Mika Beach episode. And I think a lot of you guys will appreciate, taking that time off to create that episode, because as you saw, it's just a beautiful scenic thing. And I'm very, very happy that I was able to share with you guys. So again, next week, there won't be a Haiti Biz News episode, okay? But we'll be back the following week, all right? And there might be a few more of these in the coming future, because I got a lot of different projects we're working on and outside the province, and so outside the city. So we'll see. Of course, I always try to announce to give you guys a heads up, right? All right, so let's go and read, what some of the folks who are coming in the chat here are saying. We got Carl Barnes, hey man, from California. first time I'm seeing Carl in the chat. I want to appreciate you, Carl, and I hope to see you again. Always drop a comment that you know you're there, and as this goes on, feel free, whatever you want to ask or contribute to the conversation. Don't hesitate. Don't be shy. We got no shy people here. I want folks to comment and be a part of the conversation. We got Jose Antonio Vincent Borgela. Whew, you got enough names, brother? Holas, buenas tardes. Yeah, we got a Spanish friend in here. Keep me earnest, right? Our most vocal folks are usually, guys coming from the Latin community, so the Hispanic community. So certainly welcome. We got Iraq. What was the tongue twister name? Iraq Prince. There we go. Got it. Bonjour. Enfant. Yes. Thanks for sharing, Iraq. Right. Let's see. Jose says, por favor, hace saber por este su canal que la República Dominicana se comprobó el primer caso de coronavirus. So I think I got that something about the coronavirus. And I can't really copy and paste that to get the transformation in English, but something about so I think you're asking me to talk about the coronavirus in Dominican Republic, and actually I was going to, but then when I tried to validate that story, I couldn't find any articles on it. I did hear that because I don't, everything we do here, we got to have a valid source, right? And I did see something on Facebook briefly about some confirmed coronavirus, but when I went online, I didn't see anything, right? And so I'm not going to talk about it this episode. I was going to, but I couldn't confirm it, right? And so, but thanks for that. Maybe I'll talk about it when I come back, if it's become confirmed, right? But certainly it's there's certainly many cases of not unconfirmed and scares and people being quarantined in the Dominican Republic because DR has so many visitors. It's only honestly a matter of time before there is going to be at least one confirmed case. And I think the one case that I did read that was very probable was a Romanian who came from Italy. And Italy, as you know, is like a very big hotspot right now in Europe for the coronavirus. So that's what I've heard. And again, I couldn't collaborate that story 100%, right? We got Ernest Nicholas saying, thank you for posting the video. Hope you keep posting. I appreciate what you do now. Thank you. Thank you for watching, first off. Thank you for hopefully sharing. Thank you for subscribing, right? So thank you. My content's only as good as the people who watch it and disperse it across the interweb. So thank you. JH, hello. First time I'm seeing you. Good to see you. We got Jean Bissanth saying my video for Live When I was great. Thank you. If you did like it, again, make sure to share it on your network. Let's get some more folks, the mission that changed the narrative. We all have that responsibility, and your job's pretty easy. You just got that big red button that says share and subscribe. I have to actually go out, shoot it, and then work on putting it together. But so do your part, share it. So thanks. We got Wild Videos saying we got the first coronavirus confirmed. An Italian entered on the 22nd of February. He got quarantined last night. Lots of Haitians work in the Dominican hotel industry. Stay safe. All right. So thank you for that Wild video. I couldn't find anywhere where they were talking about that. I just heard he was a very probable case. It wasn't 100% confirmed, but if you're saying it's confirmed, then that's unfortunate. You guys over there in DR, certainly stay safe. Start wearing those masks and be prudent out there. Again, I'm not too sure. Ultimately, the overall impact of this, simply because 10,000 people died last flu season from the common flu. So a few thousand dying from this flu, I'm not too sure really the overall relevancy of this particular strain, minus that the mainstream media, who are running 24 cycles, have something to talk about. I'm still not convinced that this is an epidemic necessarily. I'm sorry. I've been pretty staying pretty much on top of it and the understanding what coronavirus is, and its impact and its overall, the fact that we don't have a way to treat it like we for some flu viruses. But when you just compare the numbers of what flu season and regular flus that we do have some recourse against, the number is really pale. So I'm not, I got another reason why I'm not necessarily going to devote any more time talking about it is that I'm not convinced it's really anything special, when you really sit down and think about it versus just the common flu, right? So, but thanks, guys. We got Jason Dorellis. Good morning. Good to see you. Blessings. Likewise. Thank you, brother. Hope to see you next week. And says, I've always wanted to know what's there. I'm very interested. Please allow me on that island. Oh, I love the video on La Guanave itself. Yeah, La Guanave, it's a relatively populated island, actually, funny enough. And obviously they don't have electricity or even ways for them to natively get water or a lot of food. The area there, it doesn't rain too often. It's pretty dry. Just the way the mountains are set up, the moisture doesn't really get there. And I talked about it last episode where there's a desalination plant being built, and they are going to use solar panels to grab water from the sea and then convert it to water that they're going to be able to sell to the locals, there in the city. Anzigale in particular, first or second biggest city. There's only two big cities there, and Anzigale is one of them. And so, but no, it's in terms of beaches and beauty, it's fantastic. It's an island that if Haiti had a government that functioned and really cared about its people and cared about its image and cared about progression and cared about anything outside of lining its own pockets over the backs of the thousands who are poor and destitute. It's an island that should be, a Mako island, like the island that exists near Hong Kong, where they're like a casino island. It should be a specialized zone. I know Martinique was trying to make that island into like a sort of mini tax, its own little thing, and allow people to be registered there and live there, like a sort of mini Bahamas, sort of Virgin Island sort of deal. But of course, that was shot down by the parliament. But certainly, some major development needs to happen there, because it's an incredible opportunity that's being gone for waste. So that's my 2 cents on it, Jason Dorellis. So thank you for that. My video does confirm that it was 100% confirmed, the coronavirus. Cool. And let's look through IG real quick before we get started and see what folks are saying. We got Dexter, the motivator. Good to see you, Dexter, today. Good to see you, brother. He says, motivation, bro, Gimba guy, na Port-au-Prince. That's what's up. Let me see what you're doing. Haiti's great. Andeo. I love the country. People's bro. I love the cleaning the beach project. How can we see, this is a soup joum. It's a soup joum strains in my mouth there. Bothering the heck out of me. I love the cleaning beach project. How can we get more beach cleanup? I think Haiti Discovery is in a unique position because that's what they do. What they do is go to different, beaches along the coast and in the island of because they're based out of Cameroon. And so because that's what they do, they know firsthand how polluted the beaches in Haiti can get. And they took the responsibility to say, hey, how can we set this up so, they're part of the change and solution. And so what they did was some of the percentage of the fee that you have to pay them to be a part of their excursion. They then turn around and give it to locals at the beach that they're going to help clean it and keep it clean consistently. And so you really have to look for those partners who have that mission. Again, Haiti Discovery, if you really appreciate what they're doing, consider reaching out to them when you're in Haiti and booking with them, right? Because your money is going really directly to locals who are cleaning the beach. So, and look out for anyone else who may be doing that. And of course, too, if you end up getting a boat in Haiti, consider setting something up similar, right? So that's really the best ways to support, to be a part of that. Book directly with Haiti Discovery. They're always, even though they're at the Cameroon, they do private charters, and if they have certain amount of people for a particular weekend, no matter where it is, they will go to wherever it is, and then you can party on their boat, go out in the water, do a bunch of different stuff. So again, just check out Haiti Discovery, have a conversation with them. That's really the best way to support more beach cleanup like that, is to support the businesses that are supporting the beach cleanups, right? Thanks for that comment there, Dexter. All right. How much is the book with them? I'll let them speak for themselves. Just go check them out. Send them a message and go check them out, right? Because I'm sure, depending on how many people are trying to come on board, depending on how busy their season is, I'm sure a lot of factors go into like where you're looking to get picked up. I'm sure there's a lot of factors that go into how they price things. So it's best to reach out to them. So Haiti.discovery, they're on Instagram. Send them a message, start that conversation. Okay. All right. So yeah, let's get into it. So some of the headlines we're going to be talking about today. All right. Some of the headlines we're talking about today. Police. Oh, that's how you say it. Police. Police push for a union. All right. We're going to talk about that. ONA loan program. Yeah. ONA loan program. And a lot of different things that they may be getting instead of a police union. All right. Let's talk about that. Police versus the Army. Right. I wasn't here the first Sunday of the Carnival when it was supposed to happen. It was a little skirmish. We're gonna talk about that. We got economic update. We got some numbers in. I've got some macroeconomic numbers in to further digest. So I'm like a little kid in a candy store. You know what I mean? I'm loving it. Lots of stats to talk about. As an economist, what's coming. We got Stevia production in Haiti. Stevia production is happening in Haiti, which is pretty cool, man. So I'm really looking forward to have that conversation with you guys. We have $100 million port project denied, right? A Panex port denied, right? It could have revolutionized that area. We're going to talk about that, talk about the details. Why? Japanese construction, right? Japanese ambassador was visiting some of the things that the Japanese government is paying for and being a part of here in Haiti. And we're going to talk about some of the things they're working on. It's very, very interesting stuff in the millions of dollars, actually. So we're going to talk about that. Resize, Solidarité et Support Network for Business Creation is doing some really cool stuff with students, man. And we're at the end of it, they're going to get $10,000 to start their business venture. $10,000 US. We're going to talk about that. And also, we're going to finish up. Cash fees are going up, right? Cash fees are going up, and we're going to talk about the reasons why, right? Right. So those are the news stories we're going to be talking about today. Don't change that dial. We're about to jump into it. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the first news story. The push for a police union. The push for a police union. Right. So what's going on? So a few weeks ago, really, there's been, it's been happening for a while, where there's been quite a bit of pent up frustration amongst the police. We've had months of petty law where it's been very difficult on police, where many police were, some of them felt very helpless given the situation that was happening across the country, where they really were under-equipped to provide really assistance to the general population. Their numbers were lacking. And even when they did, there was a spat, and it continues to this day, where the death rate amongst police is very high. And there has been stretches where the police haven't been paid. And but even when they're paid, they haven't experienced an increase in wage going on for quite some time. They haven't experienced an increase in wage going back since Matali, and even then it was only a very subtle boost, right? When the 19 roughly when they get started, they get paid 19,000 good, which is you know back when that was when police PNS really was organized and that salary was set a little lower, but set that was equal to about $1,300 a month. Today, it's equal to about $300 a month, and so that obviously isn't sustainable, especially given that you have inflation of the good year over year for the past 3 to 4 years at almost 70%, 70%, sorry, 20%, which is pretty bad in year over year. 20% is astounding in terms of amount and quantity, right? And so something needs to give, something needs to go, something needs to budge, and the police are pushing for a union so they can unions allow for greater leveraging power for improvement of conditions. That's how unions work, right? Rather than one person voicing it and being fired, every folks, the entire base of employees are presented the capacity to speak, and then if their demands aren't being met, they can walk off the job, right? Obviously, the administration doesn't want that because what I've just said. Like, how would you like it if the police just decided, yeah, we're not gonna work for a week, and the criminals, of course, would perk their ears up and say, what's happening now? No police. Let's go on and have some fun, right? So for those reasons, the bargaining power, at least the counter use of it, is a very bad thing, right, for everybody. And so the administration instead are really have doubled down and said that they are going to try to provide what the police are asking for, at least the police union are asking for. And this includes, for example, social housing for police women. There's a housing project that's supposed to house over 600 police on that campus. There's supposed to be an improved free access to healthcare, life insurance, meaning if you die, then your family will get some money. In addition to increased, so they have these debit cards that are supposed to give them sort of food money, right? Money for their expenses when they're on the job, right? And to have that to be more consistently provided, in addition to have more of it, right? And of course, an ONA stands for the Office of National Insurance, basically, to be able to look to get loans from that. Usually, loans are provided for different things, slight interest. So, win for that insurance company because they have a way to get the money that they're collecting to be able to get interest and grow it. And of course, it's a win because that interest rate will still be lower than the interest they'll get from banks, with a lot less red tape, and we can use it to build homes, to potentially side businesses. Even though, actually, take that back, police officers aren't allowed to have a business in their name. There's usually ways around that. So do things like build their homes. At least that's certainly an agreement thing that is very common and done in Haiti, right? And for other soft expenses that may come up, for example, taking your kids to school, or signing up for school, things of that sort, right? And so the administration has expressed that they want to provide that to their police officers, and they refuse to adhere to a police union. Now, that has caused a lot of tension. One reason is that the police don't really believe that they're going to follow through. They just feel it's just words, and it gives them time to, in effect, fire and relocate a lot of the current opposition within the ranks of the current police. And that's happened. We've had many firings of police officers who were the most vocal about for a union. I can tell you I've had conversations with police officers here in Haiti, and a lot of them, majority of them, aren't protesting or aren't actively vocalizing their support for a police union because they do not want to lose their jobs or be relocated to like the other side of Haiti, far from their friends and family, right? So, uh, so, uh, so some of them have been fired. There's been is going to bleed into our next story, which is reconnect them together, which is the fact that on first day of Carnival in Port-au-Prince, a lot of the police and the police union were saying, "Hey, we're not okay with the government spending millions of good in preparing for these Carnival festivities. Meanwhile, we haven't gotten a raise. Meanwhile, our work conditions are terrible. Meanwhile, our offices are dilapidated. Inverters don't work, batteries don't work, toilets don't work, beds have bed bugs, mold, and on and on and on. But yet, you guys have money to spend. I think the total price cost of Sweet Mickey performing in Cap Haitien was about 23 million good, right? And so when you look at that, it was a point of frustration and for a lot of police officers, and they vocalized, "Hey, let y'all know, don't do it, don't do the carnival. Something bad's gonna happen, right?" So the of course administration said, "Nah, we're gonna do it," and some off-duty cops shot at on-duty cops in the army. And at the end tallies, we had 4 shot on the police side, active police side, army side, and for sure 1 death on the army side, and 1 death on the off-duty side of things. And it's unfortunate because it could have been avoided, right? Could have been avoided. Um, if simply, some people argue the carnival shouldn't have been done because of the general insecurity that's happening in the country right now. Um, is for one. At least before there was any real tangible things provided to the police, certainly it was a tremendous risk. Especially when you have the guard that is supposed to help protect the carnival itself, saying that they don't want it done. That right there should give you a good degree of pause right there, right? But it didn't. It went through, and unfortunately, this happened, right? And the very next day, at least that same day, the carnival was canceled for Port-au-Prince. Now, Sweet Mickey still tried to do his carnival the next day, and you can catch video of him on his float performing, and he was successful for about 4 to 5 hours. Around 10 p.m. though, somebody, potentially another off-duty cop, threw tear gas onto his float. Shots rang out. Somebody on his float was shot, and Moxley was hopped in a car and left. And the party in the event quickly dispersed there. And of course, for the rest of OCOP's Carnival was canceled. Jacques Mel currently is the only one that was able to complete its Carnival. Guanaive was supposed to had its own, but it was canceled long ago by the mayor when he expressed the amount of insecurity. And I believe Port Liberté, which we're going to talk about, I believe had theirs as well, but a lot more low key, right? And so that, and though there is some counter narrative about who were in both cases, OCOP and also Port-au-Prince, who were doing the shooting, right? Who initiated. We have some government officials saying that it wasn't the police at all. It wasn't even off-duty police. It was thugs and gangs and just people who were dressed up as police who did that, who required police uniforms and were just guess you know, terrorists in a way, is what the government is some in the government are saying and expressing. And so, in terms of what is real and what isn't, here's what I can tell you. I can tell you that that day, I actually had to drive. At least the next day after, it was Monday, I had to drive to Port-au-Prince because I was in Cameroon. Was I a little stressed? I was. Not really for me, but I had my wife with me, and I know I can handle anything. I just didn't want her there during that same instance. But I can tell you, the entire road from Cameroon to Port-au-Prince was smooth and clear, nothing there. Once we got to the very outskirts of Port-au-Prince, which is really, there's a route. I call it Route City Soleil, which is a very quick stretch of the national highway that you can take inside that cuts pretty close to City Soleil, but then immediately rears out. There's a better name for it, I'm sure, but that's the same road that cuts across Seejeanty and E-Power, the E-Power plant, Valeur road, right? And so once we got there, I can tell you that things got pretty sketchy, right? Because there was burning tires at that point, literally inflamed burning tires. You had to drive through that. But once we drove through that, though, we had SEMO literally right in front of us, and they were dispersing the crowd. There was a crowd of motorists, I believe, were protesting. Dispersed the crowd. Did see a few barricades right in front of, at the time we were driving by, anyways, right in front of what is that? What's that park called? The industrial park near the airport. I think it was the S. I'm drawing a blank, guys. But anyone who knows Haiti knows what I'm talking about. The very large industrial park. Because of the S. It's just escaped me. If I could Google it, but I don't feel like typing. But so there was some roadblocks right in front of there. But once we got past that, we were all set, and we were the rest of the city was pretty. At least the roads we took were relatively a little quiet, but a little too quiet. It had very little activity, but still, we were able to get back to our place in one piece. So I share that just to say things were a little tense throughout the city in particular at the time after the Carnival shootings or fight. But since then, also the army and the police have also met, also confirmed that it wasn't anything amongst their organized ranks. It was outliers, and basically, they say, "Hey, you good? Yeah, I'm good. You good? All right, cool." Dapped it up, kept it going, right? So as it stands right now, also even that same day, I was driving, or even the next day too, I was driving around. The police were out. Police were doing checkpoints. The police were doing their jobs. So I can tell you, and the police I know also said, "Hey, it doesn't change anything we're doing. We're still out. We're still working. We're still doing our best to provide service." And so a lot of folks in the diaspora were hitting me up. "Oh, there's a civil war. There's a civil war in Haiti right now. We're in the police and the army. They're fighting each other." Like, relax. In fact, I went so far to post things on my story in Cameroon saying, I don't know what y'all talking about. We're out here, we're chilling, we're having a good time, watching a flame show. Haiti isn't the one news story that's trying to dominate. For every one event that's happening, there's a dozen different events that don't even folks or groups of people don't even what's going on. They found out a week or two after it happens, and certainly I would have been a part of that if I just wasn't so naturally very connected with what's going on in the country. So that's really the news story to talk about. There's continued arrests around kidnapping. There's continued arrests around those who are purported to be a part of it. The amount of kidnappings have gone down to the point where at least I know folks are confidently sending their kids to school and everything, but there are still a few reported cases happening. It is kind of returned to normal in a way where it isn't random people necessarily, but it is people means, which might be a little more concerning. But again, the police have been making good progress on arresting lower level committers, as I expressed before, I am very confident that the police will continue to make progress in securing, you know, the population from this very beyond a nuisance, right? It's very troubling, right? So the next news story, but before I do, I'm gonna get a quick thing of water. Though it's been particularly sore, and I realize when I do these long episodes, I need to have a little. I need to parse the water, otherwise it's not good for me. So give me 1 minute. All right, we are here. Whew. I'll tell you the truth, it's Red Bull. Went to bed late last night. Let's just be honest. I need some Red Bull. Next news story has to do with economic updates, right? And before I do, let me just grab the comments real quick. We got Daniel Dodard sharing that he got married at the Cameroon and the after party with Haiti Discovery. Good stuff. So you know David, you know the boat, you know of what they can do. So happy to hear that you had an experience, positive experience, both at the Cameroon and Haiti Discovery. Good stuff, Daniel. We got Iraq Prince saying, what a wake-up call. Yeah, it certainly can be crazy. Heard they burned some of the kidnappers alive on their motors. You know, tell you what, you know, Haiti has its own degree of justice for some people, because you know, justice in Haiti, the systematic justice, you know, courts and prison is slow and sometimes never happens. And so, you know, I don't condone such things, but certainly such things happen when the community takes justice to their own hands, right? And so, so I don't know. I haven't heard that specific case, but is it possible? Probably. Okay. And of course, my feelings towards folks who are part of kidnapping, I personally would do a lot worse because it's just not right that you're taking. I mean, you're basically, it's terrorism, right? It's you're taking the peace of mind of people away from them, especially the way they're doing it, which is anybody, you know, anyone, no matter what their economic level, just taking them and asking for money and doing heinous things to them, if they do get the money, right? So, Nancy, thank you. I will stay hydrated. Thank you. We got a few folks coming in on IG. Menarez, thank you. Right back at you. All right, next news story has to do with the 2019, right? We had some numbers in, and it's really about exports, right? So exports for 2019 is estimated to be about 1.611 billion, so 1.16 billion dollars of exports, or sorry, 1.61, right? So $1,061,000,000. And of that 1,061,000,000, 1,008,000,000 was textile. So I'm gonna say that again. Out of 1.61, 1.08 billion was textile. So in other words, 85% of our exports. It's not mangoes. You know you love your mangoes, your Haitian mangoes. You know, y'all know what I'm talking about. It wasn't banan. I know y'all gotta have y'all banan, right? It's not banan, right? It's not Louis Masquiti. You know, y'all gotta have y'all Louis Masquiti, right? It wasn't Louis Masquiti, right? It wasn't pizimi. Pizimi is something so uniquely Haitian that the world could appreciate, like quinoa. It's not pizimi, you know. It's not that, you know, things that could impact, right? It's not even vetiver. Vetiver is something that's been growing in popularity and usefulness. Something usually used for perfumes. It's a type of weed that can turn as perfume, and it grows very well in our climate. It's not even that, right? Past year, it is textiles, which on one level, it's fine. It's manufacturing, right? It's something that can generally help with the employment environment for an urban environment where Haiti is predominantly urban and predominantly um, rather than the ruralness of what used to be. But still, when you have a country that imports as much as it does, that has you know lost the connection between uh, the flows of income towards sustainability, especially in the rural area. And the way to improve the situation now is really to help fund that. When you see that 85% of your exports will potentially drive growth in your agricultural sector is happening in just one thing that isn't that, it's problematic. It's problematic, right? The year-over-year growth of textiles is 12.3%. And that's given pay law. And that's given that during pay law, 3,000 jobs were lost in the textile sector. Right. So imagine what potentially could have been with stability. Right. So I think all in all, we can say that the textile industry in Haiti has been resilient despite the challenges. And let me remind you that overnight, the textile companies woke up and found out that they had a 30 to 40% increase in their wage. The minimum wage for workers in textiles overnight increased by 30%, 30 to 40%. Just out of the blue. One of the few times that Haitian Parliament actually did its job and passed a law, right? It was that, which again, I'm always for, let's be clear, I'm very for improvements of minimum wage in Haiti, but also include ways for me to much more easily pay my tax instead of having to go through very expensive, accountants, rather than like in America where I could just file my own stuff directly, right? And that's just, I use accountants, right? There's people who go through under the table and have to pay, that way to get things done, right? Why not pass laws to make it easier to register your business? Why don't you pass laws to just make it easier administratively to have a business? So if you're going to increase the costs of running a business in Haiti, also figure out a way to make it easier for businesses to operate. Help me out. Don't just increase my costs and leave the system as it is, right? That's always my gripe. Every time I have to bring this up, I'm all for, the wages going up, but then what are you doing to help the business owners, legal, in the legal framework of how the country operates? Do something there, right? Give us something, right? Um, so, additionally, another important line item is the fact that in the coming year, we do expect foreign aid to decrease, hitting, it's expected to hit about 6.5% of the GDP. This is vis-a-vis the high of 27.4% back in 2010. Obviously, the earthquake was a big reason it hit that high, but still, we expect it to continue to decrease. For example, for reasons related to, for example, we have a parliament, $150 million, for example, sitting with the IMF unable to be distributed because we don't have a parliament to ratify the aid, right? And that's not just them. There's other aid also in need of ratification before being provided. So we can expect the foreign aid percentage to go down. And finally, Haiti has been experiencing a 1.8 fixed investment flow year over year. And the focus has been in export-oriented sectors. What does that mean? Really, it means that the little bit of growth that we've seen in inward investment has been in sectors of exporting, but a big part of that 1.8 actually goes back to textiles, right? Again, I don't want to make it sound like I'm not appreciative of textiles. Right? It's a job producer. Over 157,000 Haitians are employed in the textile sector in Haiti, which is incredible. Wow, right? And of course, the secondary employment market is even larger, right? Because these, the tap drivers, the people who take them back and forth, little shops that exist outside of these, usually the industrial parks to feed. So, the ripple effect of jobs is probably upwards of 300 to 400,000 that exist to support these workers, right? And that's all money that circulates in the economy and causes very positive effects. But I'm still, it's, all it takes for you to understand why I'm very pro agriculture is just a quick drive around the countryside, and you see the amount of green, the amount of land that's just obviously sitting unused, right? And you're like, why isn't there banana and mangoes and X, Y, and Z being planted? That's one thing that blew my mind when I was in Europe, and when you drive around anywhere in Europe, I was in France after I graduated my graduate program. We just were driving around, and literally, you leave. It's like you cross over one street, and then you're in big tall skyscrapers, and then you cross over one street, and you're in farmland, and then from each city to city, it's nothing but farmland. Like you may have a reserve of trees here and there sprinkled, right? But it's mostly farmland, and you actually see with your eyes. Oh, here's corn, here's wheat, here's barley, here's X, here's Y, here's strawberries, here's this, here's that, all being produced all along your drive in France, right? And same thing for Switzerland and et cetera, right? Other places I've been to. But in Haiti, as you drive through between cities, you don't see anything. You just see shrubs and just land going to waste, and a scattering of just random houses, unproductive land, which is very unfortunate, and has to change if Haiti is ever really going to be on a path of growth, right? So that's a new story. Economic update. Exports being what it is, 85% of exports textiles, and textiles has been resilient despite everything, right? So that's the news story there, right? Let's keep it going. The next news story has to do with Kenscoff coffee, which I didn't even mention that in the headline. Even mentioned in the headline, Kenscoff Coffee. So a not-for-profit group called So. So here's what happened. They gon' mission hier soir. Rete branché. OK? Ni tout petit cœur l'engien, la net. La net. My guy rete pour émission pas. So that's a little joke for folks who watch my show. I was part of. I got invited to get branché last night. The reason why I haven't drinking Red Bull, a little tired, and it was all in Creole. I forget how long we were on air there. Maybe an hour or something, and the entire thing was in Creole. So for all those guys who really want to see me, really want to hear the Creole, go ahead, go and watch. We had a really good conversation, by the way. So anyways, that's why. Let me try this again. So Larry did. Oh my God. So I'm gonna skip over that word. All right. I'm gonna skip over that word. So here's what I'll do. Actually, I'm gonna type it in. Here you go. All right, there. This NGO right here. For the development de Kenscoff. Okay, that word is just beating me up right now. Haitian for the development de Kenscoff, which is a socio-economic, agricultural, and educational organization, is working on a program to revitalize coffee. Kenscoff is very much. What's Bounce Boogie saying here? It makes me feel better about my Creole. Oh, I was about to give you a few words, man. You want to see my Creole? I'll give you a few words. But nah, it's a children's show. I'm gonna keep that for off air. But you know what I'm thinking about. This organization is doing a revitalization program where it's working basically a small grant facility program where they're working on producing 100,000 new seedlings of coffee, in addition to seedlings for fruits such as avocado, and basically producing a nursery. They have a nursery, and that nursery is going to be distributing, planted, distributed, distributing and planting these seeds throughout the Kenscoff area to farmers at a very reduced cost as well. And in addition, in addition to the fact that they're doing the service, it's providing jobs, right? Because it requires 2 nurserymen and 10 assistants to help keep up with this very large operation, right? So that's fantastic news. I just did a little rant just now about the importance of agriculture um, in Haiti's economy and the lack of investment happening. And so to see this sort of effort happening in Kenscoff, again, Kenscoff is known for some pretty strong and good coffee, right? It's exceptional, right? So we certainly look forward to following up on this news story. This is development over in Kenscoff, and by the way, this is their second round of efforts. They actually previously distributed 162,000 seedlings to people in the Kenscoff area. Okay, all right. So great stuff. Thank you to that organization, a Sodalité Haitien pour le développement de Kenscoff. All right, that's as close I'm gonna get. Leave me alone. Get the money, bo. Get the money, bo. Okay. Avec le jugement, get the money, bo. All right. So the next news story has to do with Stevia production in Haiti, right? Before I move on, let me take a look at the comments and see. We got Nancy Whitting saying, yes, we should really market our coffee, give Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee a run for his money. And actually, Haitian coffee is known around the world. So it's some of the best coffee. Like even though DR also produces a very similar coffee, it's known. Like you go to any Frenchman, our chocolate is extremely good and potent, and our coffee is extremely good and potent. Unfortunately, we don't produce much of it. I'll give you an example. I don't have the figures for our coffee in my head, but I just finished a chapter on chocolate for my book as a business opportunity. And so these figures are still fresh in my head when it relates to chocolate. And the figures for coffee is very similar. Like literally in DR, recently they had, and actually these numbers are a bit old, 2014, they exported out 70 tons of chocolate, whereas for the same year, Haiti exported out 4.5 tons. 70, 4.5. 70, 4.5. And I can tell you, they take the Dominican chocolate, it's pretty close, given the hemisphere and where we are, but they much would rather get the Haitian chocolate because of the strains that are mixed and the way they infuse. Even our chocolate, even the most bitter chocolate has a sweetness to it, and that's very uncommon. Usually chocolate is just straight up bitter, right? So in any case, coffee is in our coffee in particular is renowned for its taste and quality. We just unfortunately don't produce enough of it, right? And export it out. And this is one of the things I was talking about in Blanche, right? Which is, too many Haitians have this idea. I'm going to come in, I'm going to make some dooms, bring stuff in when we have these incredible products domestically that are just waiting for entrepreneurs to lead and take a hold of and get out. And there is no competition. There is no, like I say, competition. You bring stuff in, you're competing with the bourgeois and the elites who can block your stuff at the port. And they can and they do. This is a conspiracy. This happens. and they'll brag. They brag about this. So but in any case, but to going out the other way, no one's going to block you, right? And even if you get 1% of the market, international market, in whatever it is you're exporting, 1% could be equal to $2 billion to $3 billion. I'd be a-okay with $2 to $3 to $4 billion, a-okay, right? Versus bringing stuff into the Haitian economy, and then you set up a little retail store or something, and then now you're blocked. You pay look, you can't make any money, and now you're talking crap about how bad it is to do business in Haiti. And I would never, but you get all these people who then go and talk shit about and discourage others from coming to do business in Haiti. Or it's like, how about you do better business in Haiti and stop running your mouth, right? Yeah. So, Chris, you get a little salty here. I am, right? I am. I get very annoyed by this, right? Because you have folks who are opening the wrong type of businesses in Haiti. Not only is it wrong because of the realities of how difficult it is to do business in Haiti, but it's wrong because it's not the type of businesses that grow the economy. When you're grabbing stuff from outside of the country and you're bringing it into the country, you're doing a few things that are detrimental to the country. The first is because it's not being produced in the country, you're taking jobs away from people who could be producing it, right? Right. That's really the big one, right? But secondly, you're not understanding the macroeconomic effects of you devaluing your currency, right? Because you're now bringing stuff in. That's just how it works. You buy a lot of stuff, your currency plummets in value, right? Because you're giving another currency more value, and you're making it worse for the people living in that country, right? Because now you have a lower value currency. It's hard to live off that currency, especially when you become more and more dependent on imports, right? So I get very, very, very annoyed when you hear these people talk shit about their experience in Haiti when they've always asked, do me a favor, guys, man. The folks who are watching, I got pushing 30 people on my live right now, pushing a handful on my IG. Next time you hear somebody talking shit about doing business in Haiti, they had a bad time, they got burnt, they got a cousin, ask them what type of business they opened. Mon cher, one of them that one of them, they get quelqu'un manger, bah, il dit, il n'a pas essayé d'entrer dans le pays, man, they go block him. Pay a block him. Okay. Just stop right there. Just say, okay. Meanwhile, I can show you examples like Creole Essence that just did 400,000 round of investment on Shark Tank. And even before then, even before this in round investment, they were going to make $2 million in revenue. Right? Their stuff is in Whole Foods, and now it's going to massive. They mentioned on the program, one of the largest beauty stores. Because Musketeer does help with a lot of that, right? So meanwhile, you're complaining about bringing stuff in, and really you're hurting the economy, while I can show you examples where there's people doing the opposite and they're excelling. But it's Haiti. Haiti's the problem. Okay. All right. I'll leave that alone because I could make my whole live 1 hour just ranting about that alone, right? So let me calm down. And let's move on. Let's move on to the next news story, right? Next news story, actually, we're still in this. Actually, let me before I read it, let me just read these comments real quick. We have Sam Pinge, the diaspora buy Haitian money with us. Money ban set it on fire. Don't quite understand that. Okay, moving on. Farrah Jackson laughs. Something else that was funny. Let's see. He repeats it again. Buy Haitian money with us money and set it on fire. Moshe, si Creole la papi men lang nan. Lagen na Creole mo fwe. Lagen na Creole mga koubon mga redzi nan anglais parce que mba trop suiv sa avec la. Anglais sa va bon même. Va bon même non. Si c'est français tout, lagen na français, m'ga li français. Même espagnol tout font effort là pour me lire parce que langue ma sa taper là, il va faire sens même, zéro sens. Et c'est à comment faire. Nancy Waiting says, I think that that is how the rice industry was decimated, courtesy of Uncle Sam. You're absolutely right. That is a casebook example. Such a casebook, it becomes a stereotype, and I don't even like using that example. There's so many other important illuminating examples of how imports damage us, especially, don't get me wrong, not all imports are bad, right? For example, we don't produce cars, and it will take a long time for us to produce cars if we were ever to go that way, because there's multiple things, components that go into cars. So let's, import of a car is fine. In fact, one of the things that bothers me is how taxed, so that our import tax policy in this country is backwards, right? It's literally the things that we can produce are taxed at zero, right? For example, right now, today, rice has zero tax on it, zero import tax. I'm gonna say it again. Rice has 0% import tax. Okay. Meanwhile, cars that we don't produce has 40% import tax. What effect does that do? Number one, it decimates any incentive for Haitian farmers to produce rice. Because why produce rice? Because it costs so much. And by the way, domestic rice is taxed, technically speaking. A few people actually pay it, but technically, domestic rice is taxed at 10%. So your cost base is already high enough as it is. You have to pay then 10% tax on domestic rice, right? So, and of course, the rice that's coming into your country comes from countries that heavily subsidize their farmers. American rice is extremely subsidized by the American government to allow that their price point is much lower than yours, and and since you're not even offsetting it with higher taxes, import taxes, there's no way for a domestic Haitian rice farmer to compete, and so the imported rice is always going to be cheaper, and it is, than Haitian rice. Thus, there's no reason for a Haitian producer to produce rice, and thus we have even less agriculture in rice, and we have to import more rice, right? And the effect continues, right? And one reason why when you drive around Haiti, you see so many beat up cars, right? You see these beat up old cars are cheaper, and thus when they're taxed lower because they're a cheaper car, and such, just the tax is lower, right? Versus if you buy a new car, that new car is going to be more expensive, and i.e. the tax you pay is more, right? And so you have, a lot of, all roads lead to the government, right? Whatever you may see when you come to Haiti, the reason isn't the people. Ask yourself, how is the government contributing to the problem? Because the government is, right? And this is why I get so vehemently angry at Parliament in this country, because who controls tax policy? It's Parliament. They pass the laws that regulate how much things get taxed, not the president. The president is just the enforcer of laws, and he can, of course, make some quick rulings around national defense, but he's just an enforcer of laws. Parliament is the producer and creator of laws. They do nothing, right? You guys got me talking today. You guys got me going on the deep well, man, right? But so probably right? Oh, I think Nancy and the decimation of rice, right? What meaning is keep you going? You are so right. I heard about the rice importing as a business that went bust, right? So right. And then Wild Video says, wait, what? Import rice? They don't pay taxes, but produce rice locally is 10%. Yes. Hard to believe, man. Hard to believe, but that is true, right? Domestic rice is taxed 10%, whereas imported rice has 0% tax. Okay. All right. Okay. And by the way, the way that the mechanism works, by the way, is that when the Haitian producer sells their rice, they immediately pay us 10% sales tax, like right there. And so that has to go to the government, versus when imported rice comes in, the government doesn't touch, right? Now, finally, when it goes to the retail store, finally, so by the way, finally the retail store does impose that 10% sales tax, right? And it goes, so, but understand, in Haiti, the residential farmer is supposed to, I say supposed to,
supposed to pay that 10% at the point of sale, and then it gets taxed again at 10% at the point of retail, right? And so that is in effect the 10% tax, right? So just so we're clear. But the way it should work is if it's agriculture, the government should not collect that tax, right? It should be more of a VAT where it's charged at the very end of the process rather than at each point of the process, which is how Haiti works, right? But in effect, that is a 10% tax on domestic production, whereas rice coming in is at 0%. Yeah. And so again, Haiti's where it's at because of our great government. You know, people who may want to come to my stream and say, yeah, colonialism, yeah, indemnity, yeah, U.S. policy, CIA, DEA, yeah, you're right. But ain't nothing stopping a group of parliamentarians right now, at least whenever, there's a new session, gets voted in, to say, hey guys, let's improve our customs tax policy, right? Let's remove the amount of bureaucracy that exists in creating business. Let's make it easier to pay taxes, right? Let's allow folks to go online to pay taxes. Let's put money behind that. Nothing stopping people today, right now, senators who had a vision and the capacity to think beyond their pockets to improve the conditions of Haiti today, right? That's why I always say Haiti can change in 10 years if you have the right leadership, right? No matter what's happening geopolitically, Haiti can change in 10 years if you have the right leadership, if you have the right people in parliament, right? So, Liz Z says this sounds like tomato market in Ghana, cheaper product coming from Italy and China, and the purees aren't even 100% pure tomatoes. They have filler. Yeah, yikes! That sounds terrible for Ghana. But Ghana, is a generally well organized country with a functioning government. So hopefully, the people in Ghana can put some pressure on the parliament there and hopefully improve the situation. Haiti obviously has no function. So, Ricky Jones, but yet the parliament blame every president for their downfall. Of course, right? That's the irony. We have a constitution that gives parliament incredible powers, but all parliamentarians spend their time rather than passing laws blaming a president for the problems of the country, which is incredibly insulting to those who understand the Constitution of Haiti and understand that all power resides in the parliament. Because we're coming from a dictatorship, they didn't want a dictatorship to happen again, so they gave parliament all the power to change the country. But yet, every year, you get parliament who gets elected who focuses all the energy on blaming the president for the problems of the country. Meanwhile, they have the keys to change the country. All right? Great point, Ricky Jones. Great point. Right? These farmers are abandoning their farms to migrate to Europe. That's a problem. That's a problem. I didn't hear about this. Because Ghana is presented as a very progressive country that has itself figured out. So I certainly hope Ghana can reverse that, because that's something that is going to very much harm their economy in the medium to long run if they don't head off that. And it's pretty simple. Things you can produce in the country, tax it to death. Things that you can't, make it zero, right? Until your country decides that you want to make it, then tax it. Forget this world trade crap. As economists, they want to brainwash you into saying, "No, free trade is great," but there's a balance. You got to play it. There's certain sectors and industries you have to say, no, this is national sectors of national importance, and we're not going to expose it to the job loss, because the overall impact to our economy and our social structure is going to be worse than the cheaper goods that are going to be coming in. Right? So let's move forward. Stable production in Haiti. Stable production in Haiti is supposed to be happening. Stable, for those who don't know, who may not have too many friends who go to Whole Foods and do yoga. Steva, I'm being facetious. Stevia is a replacement sugar, like equate like what's the other one? Sucralose, I think, right? And the yellow packet. I'm trying to think of the yellow packet, and in the pink packet too, right? Free and low, I think is the other one. Free and low, but those are all artificial, right? Made in the lab, and some people argue cancerous, right? Because it's fake sugar. Stevia is natural. It comes from a plant. It tastes like sugar. It's very sweet. Yet your body cannot process it. Your body's unable to process it, and so it's 0 calories. But it's all natural too, and so it's been gaining a lot of attraction. To be quite honest, I use Stevia heavily, and so and it's great for diabetics. It's great for just people looking to win, be able to consume sweetness, but not have all the negative effects of sugar. As you know, sugar is very deleterious to your body, right? And so there's been work being done. There's been preps of seeds. There's 2,000 hectares of land for Stevia in the Santo 19 Plan into cul-de-sac area. For those who don't know where that is, that's sort of like, so imagine the airport. You're looking at the map of Haiti, so you're in the Port-au-Prince airport. So that area north, right? That area north, just north of it, next to the kind of the big lakes here, and then here's the airport, and then this whole wide expanse. So that area, there's been more and more acreage being put towards Stevia production. In addition to the Antibonite region, as you know, Antibonite region is very rich area for agriculture in Haiti, and more areas are also being used to produce it. We're getting Mexican, Peruvian, Chinese, and also some Haitian investors who are coming together and seeing what they can do. In fact, one of the Haitian investors is Andre Apad. Andre Apad, if you don't know, was one of the top elites in Haiti. One of the big four or big five Haitian elites of Lebanese descent, who many have vilified for their activities in the country. Though one of the industries that he actually has made most of his riches from is actually Alpha Industries, which is a very large assembly organization here in Haiti. They assemble a lot of things for the domestic market and some export out of the country. And so, though slightly vilified, he's not really engaged in the massive import economy as many other big elite families are a part of, for what it's worth. But of course, a big part of this Stevia production is going to be that there is going to be an industrial park that is going to house a lot of the post production, right? Because after you cultivate it out the dirt, you got to do some stuff to it to be able to package it and then resell it, right? And so that stuff being done to it, that repackaging, it's a good amount of that's supposed to also happen at an agro-industrial park that's supposed to be being developed also in that Santo 19 area, right? And so this is good news for several reasons. The first is that more and more elites in Haiti who have been so very much contributing to the economic woe of the country, in the sense of that they've been importing so much, the constant deflation of the currency and the good. In fact, the good is probably going to hit 1 to 100, 1 USD to 100 good, probably the next month and a half. Of course, this is from 1 to 60 just about a year and a half ago, right? And so the depreciation of the good so much has really caused, my ears are pretty close to that class of business people here in Haiti. And I can tell you the conversations for months now have been, how do we not depend so much on the good? And how do we not depend so much on the domestic economy? Because this domestic economy is like always going to be bad. I guess they're just coming to realize, they're just realizing this. I guess they didn't have any economists in their circles that would have told them, hey, if you're importing all the time and you guys are like the big rich people and you're control the businesses and all you guys are just importing and not producing and not exporting, you do know you're going to deflate the economy. You do know you're going to drive jobs away from the country. You do know you're going to create more instability amongst the people. You do know you're also going to affect your position to be rich if you keep up with this behavior. Right? Nobody really told them this, but they're seeing it now. I'm happy they're seeing it, and they're acting on it. In fact, last week or last Haiti Biz News show, I talked about. If you guys would want to rewatch it, I talked about how in OCOP there is this very large bunun operation starting to really take fold, and very large investors are being part of it, and they're starting to export out bunun in high quality out externally, and that's also being done by one of the large rich families in Haiti. The name, I'd have to take a look at my notes and see which one it was again, but it was one of the top 4 or 5 big families doing it, just like in this case. And so you're seeing that more and more news stories are coming out in Haiti of these top elite families finally doing what they should be doing, which is mobilizing capital to, and they're doing it in agriculture, mobilizing capital to activate the agricultural potential of Haiti for the international market. So when people ask me, in a week where you're supposed to have a carnival and you have purportedly off-duty cops, but purportedly just people dressed up as cops shooting at army people, and a lot of people reached out. I'm losing hope about Haiti. I'm working so hard about Haiti and all these news stories and But people ask me, Chris, how do you stay so hopeful? It's because I'm in the weeds. It's because I'm doing shows like this where my job is to find stories to share with you, and while finding these stories, as the economist, I can see things. I can put on my economist glasses, and I can see, okay, see this has the potential of changing the country, right? This is hopeful, right? This, if we were doing this from the very start of the fall of the Duvalier regime to today, we'd have a very different Haiti, right? And so these are the sort of stories. Stable production in Haiti. We have big mobilizer of capital, and it's what the elites are in Haiti. Just think about it. If you had a little bit of money, you want to put your money on the sure bet versus the unsure bet, right? So they can mobilize capital and get big money behind them to do things because they have a proven track record. This is how business works. You want to give your money to people who have proven track records, right? And the fact that they're finally got it, finally get it. Yeah, I can't import anymore. I really have to figure out ways to export, and to export, you have to, develop. You have to. And one of the big things this article talked about was the fact that they're working very closely with the farmers in this area, right? Because farmland in Haiti, it's owned by very small families, right, in small lots, usually less than a hectare, much less than a hectare, right? So the only way to produce anything is you have to work with the farmers who reside on this land, and so there's going to be massive training. That's why they're working on the seedlings to provide the farmers, and they're going to provide farmers extensive training, excessive guidance, and support to get this product, completed and back to them, to the industrial park which they'll control, and be able to produce it, package it, and get it out, right? And get stable is a big thing where, again, all the whole food yoga lovers in Southside Hollywood, they're just in love with, right? And the fact that Haiti could capitalize on this trend, again, that's where my hope is. My hope is in stuff like this that's happening, where I think the Haitian economy has deteriorated to such an extent. It's forced the people in the positions who can most change the economy, right? The Haitian diaspora, we have a role to play, but it's difficult given how Haiti's structured to immediately plug in and start impacting the change. The elites here are plugged in. The elites here have the money. The elites here can, just on a turn of a dime, impact, right? And the fact that you're seeing that they're doing more and more things that they should have been doing ages ago, and they're doing it now. I can tell you guys honestly, seriously, that gives me a tremendous amount of hope that Haiti's economy may, in 10 years, or something, finally start showing consistent progress if more and more of these sort of news stories can continue to repeat. But so I'm excited about it. Honestly, this is one of my, people ask me some of the top news stories of the year. I'm going to point to this as one of them. The fact that stable production is happening. Stevia, I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, but whatever. Stevia production is happening in Haiti and it's starting to be seriously worked on and invested in. Okay, let's see what the folks are saying here on the chat. We have what is the name of the largest farmers market in Haiti? So here's the thing about Haiti. There's a lot of there's a lot of farmers markets. We don't even call them farmers markets. We just call them mashuns. We just call them mashuns, and they happen. There isn't. It's hard for me to. I'm sure there is certainly one that somebody who really knows will be able to say, oh yeah, the biggest one is da da da. But to me, as I drive around, from Port-au-Prince to different parts of the country, I see many very large mashuns areas where product from that particular area congregates to be sold for as waypoints, right? They're sold in very large numbers to the very next large city, and they act as waypoints for people to sort of barter, right? And so I can't tell you. I'm sure there is one that is clearly the number one, but I can tell you there are many, many very large open air markets that function as farmers markets, as you guys in America knows it. You call it farmers markets because there's so many Winn-Dixies and Publixes and grocery stores that the one place that sells them in the old school way, you guys invented a special term called farmers market, right? But in Haiti, it's just kind of open market. That's just how majority of things are being sold, right? And so that's they're so ubiquitous and so everywhere. I can't really tell you which one is the largest, but I'm sure there is a large one. I can't answer it. JH goes, okay, I just answered that. Iraq Prince goes, man, you're going in on this video Sunday. Try not to, but you guys are providing some great topic points to pivot off. So thank you guys. NNC Loose Love you. Okay, first time I'm seeing you. Nadej, good to see you. Happy to have you. Hope to see you again. We're here every Sunday, 11 a.m. Well, every Sunday that we can, that I have other engagement, but most Sundays we're here 11 a.m. Right? Nancy Whiting goes, we are a land of sun. Agriculture should be front and center. Building infrastructure should be emphasized too. Absolutely. Estrella, heads up to Haiti. First case of coronavirus just confirmed the Yeah, you're late, Estrella. We talked about that at the very beginning of the cast. So you can go ahead and once this cast is over, replay it. We talked about it extensively. So thank you for that. But I think Haiti, we're kind of going to be late on that just because we're not as many people travel to Haiti, for better or for worse. In this case, for better, because that's slowed down the transmission of it. DR receives a lot. In fact, Dominican Republic is the most touristic place in the Caribbean. So it makes perfect sense that it's going to be the DR before anywhere else, right? So for better or for worse, our lack of success in tourism is protecting us from the coronavirus for now. So yeah, right? Wap Mini goes, Digicel on YouTube used to have Entrepreneur of the Year awards for different sectors. So they had it last year. In fact, I was invited and I went just as an observer. I didn't do an episode out of it because I got a private invitation I didn't get a invitation from Digicel itself to be there, and so I didn't get my crew there, and but I went, and it was an okay experience. Didn't like the table I was sitting at. Wasn't the most. I didn't like the table. Let me just say that. So my personal experience was kind of muddled, but overall, people, the presenters, the event was pretty good. I did keep. I think I have somewhere in my drawer here. I do have the pamphlet of all the participants. I kept on to specifically so I could reach out to in the future to try to do an episode with them. I just have been a little busy and doing some other stuff, but certainly I gotta see about reaching out to a winner or two or runner up and get them on the show. So thank you for that. Yeah, I'm not sure if Digital is going to do it this year or not, but probably not. But they did do it last year, and it was a pretty cool thing to be a part of. To be there and sort of see that, regardless of my particular experience myself. Right. So next up, next story we want to talk about. It's a bit of an old story, actually. A bit of an old story. 100 million Fort Liberté, right? Let's talk about that. So this is a story that actually it's a bit old. It happened under Martelly, and of course it was known then what happened, but it's kind of reemerged because Fort Liberté, folks who live there have really championed and continue to champion a Pan-Ex port because the conditions. You really should just Google that port at Fort Liberté, and you go to their website. And it's a part of the links as well that I posted here. And the way it's set up, it's basically a lagoon, right, that opens up to the sea. But that lagoon is very deep, right, and allows a perfect, port for Pan-Ex ships, which is very hard to find in the Caribbean. Haiti actually has several potential geographical places that. Because again, this sort of lagoon, what's so nice about it is if you were to try to reproduce it anywhere else, it would cost billions upon billions of dollars. But because the lagoon sort of cuts off the sort of waves and the pressure from the sea, whatever may be happening, hard currents, rip currents, high tide, low tide, it insulates and helps reduce the effect of all those things. It really acts as a perfect natural deep body port with minimal things you have to do to ensure that it functions. Yeah, there's some walls and stuff you have to build because again, it's sort of a lagoon, so it's kind of like muddy a little bit. But minus the few little tweaks you have to do to ensure that it's solid, it functions very well as a Pan-Ex port. The Belgium government or Belgium representatives secured in effect, $100 million loan package from the Euro-Asian Development Bank to basically start work. All they needed was sign off. I mean, literally, all they needed was sign off from the Haitian government to be able to do something like that. Because there's some environmental regulations and things of that sort that you couldn't just start building, right? You had to get approval from the Haitian government, and the administration under Matali not only did not give approval, but gave purposely declined and shut down that with an injunction, and that's kind of where it's been. There hasn't been any other re-engagement. As you know, Jovenel Moise is part of Matali's party, PHTK, and so generally speaking, whatever one party person does, the next person who comes up after them will generally keep that momentum. And Jovenel, for all his talk of wanting to help develop the country, this very low-hanging fruit, because this money's still here, by the way. I just want to let you get it. This money, the Belgian government, the folks in part, they still would really want to develop a port here. And by the way, this port is at Fort Liberté. Where's Fort Liberté? It's sort of almost on the border of Dominican Republic, right? So now that I've told you this, now you understand why Martley shut it down. Per the accounts of people close to the matter, the Dominican government, and I think it was President Pena, I believe his name is But the previous president at the time, who was serving at the same time, Martley, put pressure on Martley to not approve of this port because of the loss of business the port was going to do to Dominican ports. Understand that this port really was going to be there to service Caracol. And because right now, even though Caracol produces a lot of exports, I just talked extensively about the amount of exports the textile industry is doing. I just told you 85% of Haiti's exports, 85% of the exports we produced last year were in textiles, right? The Cap Haitien port is unable to handle the current loads of exports of textiles, right? For different reasons, quality and productivity, etc. It's not modern. The OCAP port, in fact, one of the companies that King Moise actually shut down during this whole Seejeanty, E-Power, High Track fight. One of the companies he also shut down. This is understood to be a shot at Bijou, which is, as you know, the richest man in Haiti, and i.e. potentially the most powerful man in Haiti, right? During a previous administration, he had been a part of getting this Israeli company to win a contract to modernize 3 to 4 of the different ports around the country. OCAP was one of them. There were some news stories that they made some progress, but ultimately there really hasn't been much progress at all. Of course, if you understand Haiti, you'll understand why. A lot of the people put in powers of position in Haiti has nothing to do with their capacity to do it, but their political connections. And unless you get the political connection to have them do work, they won't do work because you can't fire them, you can't do anything to them because they're appointed politically, and nothing you can do to get them to do their job otherwise. So I understand, a company coming in, if the company really was trying to do something legitimate, they would be stymied and blocked to death because those put in politically just won't do their. There's a reason why they're put in politically, right? And money can move around easierly. That's a word I'm inventing. When there isn't computer systems and modern ways to track things that are moving, right? So the Israeli company never got as far as they wanted to, and Joe King Moise came in and said, "Yeah, you guys, we're spending a lot of money for this contract for you guys to modernize things. I'm not seeing any progress," and cut the contract out, and that's again, the port remains unmodern, and so one of the reasons why most things from Caracol goes through the Dominican ports is that the Dominican ports are modern, right? They do have a lot of facilities to make the inward and outward flow of those products happen very quickly and happen at a fraction of the cost that they should. Now, this new Panax port would have been a very modern, very capable, very productive port that could have handled the entirety and some of Caracol's outward production, and so for that reason, from the perspective of the Dominicans who didn't want to lose the business, and from the perspective of the people making hand over fist money corruptively right now in the ports of OCAP, those two sides came together, joined forces, and very beautifully, as you can see, it's like a union in matrimony. So you want to shout out here. They say, you know what? I get married peuple haïtien, I get married in pauvre, I get married in production pays, opportunity qui a existé. Forget the incredible benefits that this $100 million thing could have brought in terms of jobs and development in the area, and potentially not even just stuff going out, but we have a Panex port. That means stuff can come in, and potentially Haiti could serve as a waypoint right now for refueling and a lot of different things. Having a port like that, and so forget all that. Let's just keep making money the corrupt way through the OCAP port. Let's let the Dominicans, make their economic progress, and whatever crumbs they want to throw our way, we'll throw our way in. And that's the news story. sometimes I can't. I do my best to sound balanced, and I am balanced, but there is no balance in a news story like this. Understand that, right? Understand there is no way to present a news story by balanced when it's so obviously um, so one-sided against development of the country. And I can tell you, it's very frustrating. I can tell you, anyone who has taken time to read about what happened at Port Liberté under Martelly, no matter how much you may like Martelly for whatever reason, once you read about the story, you don't like him, right? And certainly for me, that is a point of frustration. And certainly, if I ever interviewed Martelly, one of the first questions I would have asked him would be, explain yourself, explain Port Liberté, explain why don't we have $100 million Pan export that can compete and take advantage of the incredible amount of traffic that happens, around Haiti. We have one Pan export owned by Bijou, right? And I guess it takes a Bijou level person to get over the corruption internally in the country and the pressure from the Dominicans. And that's the only way to do something of genuine economic progression, is to be so insanely rich you can fight off both sides. But in any case, the story's on my. I feel so strongly about the story for obvious reasons. I just shared it on my Seejeanty Facebook page. And do me a favor, guys, go ahead and share that story. Let that story go out because we really need to know that there's incredible projects that exist that could really impact the country in massive ways. Because again, when you have a project like that, it depressurizes the cities like Port-au-Prince. People can not have to move there; they can move out to other parts of the country that are developing. All these things, all these multiple positive externalities that a project like this could happen. We got to share these stories and hold people accountable at the end of the day, because a project like this really needs to be in existence. A project like this really needs to see the light of day again, right? Haiti needs it, the area needs it, and it needs to happen, right? It needs to happen. Maybe not in this administration, but I hope PHTK doesn't win another round, because we need another party in here to sort of, shake things up and allow certain things like this, hopefully, to have a new shot at happening. So, but we'll see how that happens, right? So that's that news story. Let's see what the folks are saying in chat. EV, what's up, my brother? Good to see you. Happy to have you in the chat. Good afternoon. Always a pleasure. Absolutely. Likewise. Good to see you, man. We got Tamara Jimenez. Definitely, yeah, please share the story. While videos, I believe the investor at the end will see the number of flights and security exports matters. Guatemala export fruits and vegetables through Dominican airports and ports. I'm not sure what you mean there, Wild Video. If you're provided as a reason for why the Dominican Republic would want to keep the business, or if you're trying to allude to that that Haiti should improve its security and number of flights to get more. I'm not following too much what you're saying there. Let's see. I don't think DR pressured Haitian government. You're gonna say that. By the way, guys, Wild Video is staunch Dominican. Of course, our Dominicans are very, as Haitians, very patriotic, right? So you would say that, but let's do this. Wild Videos. Go ahead and there's the link. Read up on it. Watch the video. All right. There's people very close to the matter who are very reputable sources who have provided accounts that are attestable, right? Could stand in the body of court as admissible evidence towards something, right? And they have expressed that the president at the time, Dominican Republic, explicitly reached out to Martelly and said, "Yeah, we really wouldn't like for this report to happen," and sort of hint and wink, and it wouldn't make us good friends. And that was one of the key reasons why Martelly shut it down. Right. So, so quickly defend your government. Right. I am as patriotic as the next person, but when your government does something wrong, you have to be able to say you did something wrong so your government can do better, right? That's why a lot of you Dominicans right now are fighting for a better electoral process, right? If something's wrong, something is wrong. Something has to be done, right? And so I'm sorry. Anybody from Dominican Republic, listen to this right now. I'm not talking shit about Dominican Republic. You know, the Dominican Republic did what was best for them, right? I'm not that you're making a lot of money through ports. Haitian and a lot of products coming from Haiti are going through your ports. Is it smart or dumb to express and do things to protect your investment? It's the best move. I'm not vilifying DR. DR is doing what's in their best interest. I'm vilifying the Haitian government for not doing what's in their best interest, which is to say, Dominican Republic, we're good. We're going to build this because Haiti needs it, the Haitian economy needs it, and we need to do things to improve ourselves. Whatever your reasons are, we're going to do what's in the best interest of Haiti, its economy, and its people. Sorry, thanks. Have a good day. Right? That's who I'm vilifying. You know, the Haitian government who is unable to stand up for itself and unable to stand up for the best interest of its people and its economy. Right. So let's move on. Next news story: Japanese construction companies. A Japanese ambassador, Mizuno Mitsuka, says, was in the country and visiting several projects that Japanese government has itself hands in. One is the Faculty of Human Sciences. It's a $744,000 site for administration of that particular department. And then two schools, the lycée that was damaged in the earthquake, Lycée Marie de Marie Jeanne, excusez-moi, and then Lycée de Jeunesse Fille. That is a $2.128 million set of projects put together to help build these two schools up. So hats off to the Japanese government, being a part of the funding and also the supervision. And what's interesting about this project is that it's Haitians that are doing a lot of the work, which is very good and very important. And I am also aware, I'm surprised that this news story didn't mention, but I do know that the Japanese government is also heavily involved in a very important bridge that takes you out of Port-au-Prince going north. And every time I drive by there, I do see substantial progress on that. And so I'm sure that's something that I should mention as well. I don't know the figures necessarily on it. The next news story has to do with RISAIAS, Solidarité Support Network for Business Creation. They've selected 30 Haitian students that are at the end of their graduate schools, right? And basically the idea is to look for businesses that are going to provide social impact. So these 30 students are going to receive 180 hours of workshops by research professors, professionals, Haitian foreign businessmen, and within skills, skills to build up the capacity, build up the operations of the businesses, build up, how to finance it, marketing, organization, and those who at the incubation period have done the most progress and also really developed their concept in the most mature way, and also this interesting concepts as well. Those that win, 6 will be selected out of 30, and that 6 will gain $10,000 USD. Right. The funding for this program is by the New University of the Francophonie, the Central Bank of Haiti, FOCAL, Seejeanty, have all put together to provide these young groups of entrepreneurs a way forward and a way to potentially build ventures that hopefully will last and grow and provide employment. So, fantastic story. This actually is the third or fourth annual Risayas program. Um, and we're happy to see that it's continued to go. It's continuing to be something that exists, especially coming out of pay law and some of the difficulties we had economically. The fact that this program is going, again, another story of hope and positivity, right? And finally, the final news story of today has to do with final news story has to do with Moncash. Digicel has increased their fees, right? Now, what is Moncash? Moncash is a digital currency. It's I'm sure you've heard a lot of these people using their mobile phones to pay for things in other countries. For example, like Kenya and Zimbabwe and stuff like that. There's always been a push to try to get Haiti to also move to more of a digital currency rather than using paper currency to pay for things. There's been some progress. I think currently there's over 1 million users, consistent users, I think, of Moncash. I don't believe they're using it to pay for things, but they do use it to transfer, and then also they use it also as part of the minutes usage. So that actually has the fees have gone up. So the fees to cash out of it used to be 1 group. Now it's 83 group. Okay. And to transfer between one cash account person to another used to be 5 group. Now it's 20 group. So you do the math on that. Those are pretty large percentage increases, right? To get your money out, that's a 830% increase. Whoa. And to transfer, that is a over 200% increase. Oh no, 400% increase. I'm sorry, 400% increase. Wow. I'm saying that again. Wow, right? So the Digicel says that the fees have gone up because the fees have never gone up since they started Moncash, given between the inflation and the increased costs that they've experienced, particularly to maintain this network. They have to do this. Additionally, they're looking to try to improve the quality of service for this. In fact, they just released an app just a few weeks ago, for example. So they're looking to improve the quality and provide, additional functionality and integration for Moncash. And additionally, too, it was announced that Natcom is going to start with their own digital currency called NatCash, and the rate being talked about is actually closer to this rate that they just announced. So now it's weird. In most countries around the world, when competition's announced, usually prices go down. But in Haiti, God bless Haiti, when competition's announced, the prices go up. Figure that out, right? But that is important to note that Natcom finally is coming out with their own digital currency similar to Moncash. And since Natcom does have a very large footprint, in particular, they have a large footprint out in the countryside, where Digicel's it serves as kind of lukewarm at best, right, to be described. This is supposed to potentially give more people out in the countryside and the provinces a better, more congruent, and more efficient way to transact their businesses, all right, and their personal affairs, right? So very happy to see that, happy to hear that aspect of things. But again, I don't know how I feel about the massive increase, in prices for using Moncash. Now, nominally speaking, it's not much. 83 good isn't a lot of money, right? It's about less than $1, because if $1 right now, as I'm speaking today, is about 95 good, right? So it's less than $1. It's about 80 cents to take your money out. And then 20 good is probably closer to what, 40, 50 cents to take your money out. So nominally speaking, it's not much, but from a percentage standpoint, it's a lot, right? And so that certainly has not been well received by many people. Many people who do use Moncash. They usually transact for very small amounts, and it's seen as another slap in the face for what it means to live in Haiti and depend on Haiti as a small, low income person with yet another increase somewhere with very, very little support positively to help with their day to day, right? So we'll keep an eye on this Moncash story. It's very unfortunate, but it's an important thing to talk about given it's an economic show, and Moncash does help facilitate the financial flow of things, especially for our lower income people here in Haiti, right? And those are all the news stories for the day. The clock right now says an hour 55 minutes. You guys have me talking today. Have me passionate, have me riled up. We're different talks about different things. So I certainly want to appreciate those who asked engaging questions and provided engaging comments. Certainly appreciate that. Whether I agree with you, I don't disagree with you. I engage with you. You guys are co-hosts of mine, and I appreciate everything you add to the conversation. I think we had a good one today, right? We get another sip here. And that, I think, is where we're going to sort of wrap this up to an end, right? Just kind of wrap up what we talked about today. We talked about the police push for a union. We talked about the police versus army. We talked about economic updates related to the condition of our exports, right? And boy, did we talk about that, right, guys? We talked about the Kenscoff coffee. Yeah, we talked about the fact that there's some incredible good works being done to help improve the coffee condition of exporters in Kenscoff. We talked about stable production in Haiti, how it's very much one of the top news stories so far this year. That is really, to me, a massive positive indicator of change. We talked about the $100 million Fort Liberty project that got denied back under Martelly, and how it's the opposite of positive, inspiring stories, but certainly should be a part of our consciousness, especially as more information is coming out about how and why Martelly made the choice. Japan construction, right, and the projects that total almost $3 million that the Japanese government is currently working on. The RESIAS has a new class, picked 30 new students, and at the end of it, 6 students will have awarded to them 10,000 USD, right? And then finally, we talked about Moncash and the fees going up 830% in one case and 400% in another case, right? Those are the news stories. Those who were able to catch it and watch it all, thank you. Those who came in late, this is going to be saved, and then you can play it back, during your commute during the week or doing a quick jog. You're more than welcome to rewatch and catch the news stories that you missed to stay in the know. As we talked about before at the top of the hour, we talked about how we dropped a brand new YouTube Seejeanty about going to Mika's beach. Honestly, it's probably going to be one of my favorite videos. I'm just letting you know right now. When I look back and I produce my top 5 videos of this year, I'm pretty sure Mika's beach is going to be on it. Okay, not only because it was just a fun, cool experience, but also because of what they're doing, right? They're paying locals to keep the beach clean. How awesome is that, right? So you're having a guilt-free experience where you're going, you're able to chill, relax, and the money you paid to be a part of it, a chunk of it is going to pay locals to keep their environment clean, right? Something they're probably doing anyways, but they're actually getting compensation to do more of it, which is really awesome, right? So if you haven't seen that video yet, please, it's on YouTube Seejeanty right now. And after you watch it, share it with somebody, right? That's, we got to share a different view of Haiti, right? It looks like I'm wrapping up on IG, so IG has like captured at an hour, 2 hours, I think. So anyway, IG, yeah, See y'all later. Boom. So I sent IG away. I had a little timer coming up. Of course, those who enjoyed the episode, share the stream, right? Share the stream. As a reminder, there will be no HBN episode next week. For those who will be looking for me around this time, I won't be on. I'll be in Hish, being part of an entrepreneur and innovation conference. Not only will I be filming, probably making like 2 episodes out of this thing, but also I'll be speaking as well. So I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be pretty cool, right? Over in Hish, no less, outside of Port-au-Prince. So that's really cool. So look out for that episode, right? And that's it. That's where we're going to end it. I want to thank you guys, Nancy. Peace out. Right. Thank you guys for being on, and we'll be back in 2 weeks officially. But episodes will be dropping on location. So make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're following the Facebook page and also the IG page as well. All right. Listen, guys. Until we're back at it again, we'll be back at it again. Peace.